February 13th, 1943. Over the Solomon Islands, the sky trembles with distant thunder. Below, the jungle breathes smoke and fire. Lieutenant James "Jock" McLean grips the stick of his newly assigned F-4U Corsair, Bureau number 2296, its engine roaring like a beast barely contained. The plane is new, untested in combat, and already hated by many of its own pilots. It's fast, yes, but unpredictable. Landing it on a carrier deck has broken more than a few ankles and planes alike. "Easy, Jock," the voice of his wingman crackles through the radio. "She'll buck if you push her." But McLean's eyes are on the horizon. A squadron of Mitsubishi A6M-Zeros glints in the sunlight, 30,000 feet and closing fast. The Japanese pilots had seen this odd American machine before, with its bent wings and stubby frame. They joked about it in the mess halls of Rabaul. "A drunk gull," they called it. A crippled bird trying to fly, but when the Corsair dives, the laughter stops. McLean pushes the nose down. The air screams past his canopy. The Pratt & Whitney R2800 double wasp engine bellows, 2,000 horsepower clawing against gravity. The Corsair's wings cut through the air like sabers, and for the first time, the Japanese pilots realize this bent-wing fighter isn't stumbling. It's hunting. A Zero loops up to intercept. McLean yanks the trigger. 6 Browning .50 caliber guns unleash a torrent of fire. The Zero bursts into flame, a falling sun tumbling toward the Pacific. From below, the Marines of Henderson Field look up as the Corsairs slice the sky. The sound of their dive is unlike anything else. A piercing whistle, rising and fading with every pass. That sound would soon carry across the islands into enemy reports and fearful whispers. Whistling death. March 1943. Naval Air Station, Jacksonville, Florida. Thousands of miles from the Pacific, engineers and test pilots still wrestle with the Corsair's temperament. On the tarmac, the blue-gray fighter looks like something born of contradiction. Sleek yet awkward, powerful yet unpredictable. Its inverted gull wings, designed to accommodate the enormous propeller, have made it instantly recognizable and notoriously difficult. Commander Boone Guyton, Vought's chief test pilot, wipes oil from his gloves after another hair-raising landing. "She's got the soul of a racehorse," he mutters, "and the manners of a mule." Carrier commanders agree. Early trials aboard the USS Sangamon and Bogue end in disaster. Bounced landings, snapped landing gear, and twisted propellers. The Navy, unimpressed, decides the Corsair isn't fit for its decks. Instead, it's relegated to the Marines, who accept it out of necessity more than enthusiasm. But in the Pacific, necessity breeds innovation. At Bougainville and Espiritu Santo, Marine mechanics work through the nights, hammering out dents and repainting wings with squadron insignias: VMF 124, VMF 214, VMF 215. The bent-wing bird becomes the Marines' problem child. One pilot, Captain Kenneth Walsh, studies the Corsair's quirks like a puzzle. He learns to respect her torque, to ease her into turns, to anticipate her stall before she bites. And when he takes her into combat, everything changes. August 15th, 1943, over Vella La Vella. Walsh spots a swarm of Zeros heading for a convoy. He climbs, engine howling, until the cockpit shakes from the strain. Then he dives, and the Corsair becomes pure fury. In less than 10 minutes, Walsh downs 4 enemy fighters before limping home on fumes. "Not a clumsy bird," he tells the ground crew after landing. "Just one that needs the right hands." Word spreads. The Marines begin to trust their bent-wing monster. By late 1943, the Corsair's reputation grows. A plane that could climb faster, dive steeper, and strike harder than anything Japan can put in the sky. At Rabaul, Japanese pilots start to notice something unsettling. Their Zeros, once the undisputed kings of the Pacific, are being outflown. Reports describe a blue fighter that whistles as it dives, killing before its prey even realizes it's there. And in those reports, one phrase keeps appearing, whispered with both awe and dread: whistling death. February 17, 1944. Over Truk Lagoon, Caroline Islands. The air is thick with smoke and the acrid tang of burning fuel. Below the once mighty Japanese bastion of Truk, the Gibraltar of the Pacific, lies under relentless assault. Operation Hailstone is in full swing. Over 500 American aircraft swarm the skies, tearing through ships, airfields, and hangars. Among them, the F-4U Corsair squadrons of the Marine Air Groups. Captain Harold "Bunny" Bauer of VMF 212 checks his 6 as he banks over a smoldering cruiser. His Corsair roars through the smoke trails, the sound of its supercharger shrieking, its wings catching the sunlight in ghostly arcs. Below, sailors dive for cover as the fighter strafes the deck of a fleeing destroyer. From a nearby Zero squadron, Lieutenant Saburo Saito tries to intercept. He's an ace with 7 kills to his name, confident, skilled, and proud. But as he climbs, he sees it. That strange gull-winged silhouette slicing through the chaos. "A bent-wing fool," he mutters to his wingman. He pulls the Zero into a tight loop, expecting the American to overshoot. But the Corsair doesn't play by old rules. Bauer cuts throttle, slips under the loop, then slams the stick forward. The Corsair's nose rises again, and its 6 Brownings roar to life. Saito's Zero disintegrates mid-air. Witnesses on the ground swear they can hear it before they see it. That banshee whistle echoing down from the clouds like a scream of judgment. From that day on, the Japanese call the Corsair the Whistling Death. In the following months, the legend only grows. Over the Marshalls, the Gilberts, and the Marianas, the Corsair dominates. With speeds exceeding 400 miles per hour and an unmatched climb rate, it becomes the nightmare of every Japanese pilot. Its thick armor shrugs off small-caliber hits, its guns shred through the fragile Zeros, and its pilots, many of them former carrier rejects, now rule the sky. At night, the stories spread through foxholes and briefing tents. You hear that whistle? It means they're already dead. By the summer of 1944, the numbers speak for themselves. The Corsair's kill ratio soars past 11-1. It's not just a fighter anymore. It's a symbol. A testament to adaptation, to engineering brilliance born from desperation. What began as a flawed experiment has become America's vengeful angel of the Pacific. And as the island-hopping campaign grinds toward the Philippines, the Corsair's shadow stretches even further, over the jungles, the carriers, and the hearts of the enemy. October 25, 1944. Leyte Gulf, the Philippines. The Pacific burns. Across the sky, the largest naval battle in history unfolds. Hundreds of planes diving, weaving, and dying in the firestorm above the Japanese fleet. From the deck of the USS Essex, Ensign Thomas Tex Hill throttles forward. The deck crew waves him off, and the Corsair roars down the flight line, lifting into the smoke-choked sky. The bent wings catch the rising sun, gleaming silver blue, before vanishing into the cloud of battle. "Tex, stay tight on my 6, his squadron leader radios. "Zeke's incoming, high and right." The Japanese Zeros are coming fast, but something's changed. They're no longer the hunters. They're running out of fuel, pilots, and hope. Many are barely trained boys, thrown into combat with only a few hours of flight time. Against them, veterans in Corsairs who've survived Guadalcanal, Bougainville, and Truk. Tex spots one, a Zero diving toward a torpedo bomber. He banks hard, feeling the G-force crush him into the seat. The Corsair howls through the turn, faster than anything the Zero can match. A short burst, tracers streak through the air, and the Japanese plane erupts in flame. "Scratch one bandit," Tex says through gritted teeth. By now, the Corsair has evolved beyond its flaws. The Navy, once skeptical, has brought it back to carrier decks after improved landing gear and new pilot training. The once difficult Hog is now the pride of both the Marines and the fleet. It rules the air from the Solomons to Okinawa, and with it come heroes, names etched into history. Gregory "Pappy" Boyington, leader of the Black Sheep Squadron, who racks up 28 kills before being shot down and captured. Kenneth Walsh, now a Medal of Honor recipient. Tom Blackburn, whose VF-17 squadron becomes one of the deadliest units in the Pacific. Each man shares a common truth, that the Corsair's whistle, once mocked, became the sound of American dominance. April 7th, 1945. South of Kyushu, Japan, the last great battles are underway. Kamikaze attacks strike with suicidal fury. From the decks of the USS Bunker Hill and Enterprise, Corsairs launch in waves, intercepting the oncoming tide. A lone Marine pilot, Lieutenant Carl Brown, scans the sky. Dozens of dots rise from the sea horizon. Enemy aircraft. He throttles forward, his Corsair shrieking as it climbs. He dives through the formation, guns blazing. 1, 2, 3 kamikazes burst into fireballs. A fourth slips past. Carl pulls hard, his wings screaming in protest. The enemy slams into a destroyer below, sending a plume of smoke skyward. Carl exhales, shaken. The war's end is near, but the cost is staggering. By VJ Day, the Corsair has claimed over 2,100 aerial victories, with a kill ratio of 11-1, the highest of any Allied fighter in the Pacific. And yet, for the pilots who flew her, it was never about numbers. It was about survival and the strange, bent-winged machine that carried them through hell and back. Epilogue. Legacy of the Whistling Death. Years later, on quiet airfields and in museums, the Corsair still stands tall. Its gull wings gleam beneath hangar lights, its propellers silent but not forgotten. For those who once mocked its design, the truth became undeniable. The Corsair wasn't a mistake. It was evolution made metal. To the Japanese who first laughed at its awkward wings, it became a sound to fear. To the Marines who flew it, it became a brother. To history, it became legend. The bent-wing bird had taken flight and never looked back. If you enjoyed this story of courage, engineering, and the men who turned mockery into mastery, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Join us as we uncover more untold stories from the skies of World War II. The pilots, the machines, and the battles that changed history forever.